This piece of fat loveliness is actually called a Chic-Choc. It's a carbon fat bike made by the folks at Panorama Cycle, and they're located in Quebec, Canada. Looking at this bike from about 30,000 feet, you're going to see a carbon frame, 12-speed drivetrain, hydraulic brakes, dropper post, and 27.5 wheels and tires. The Chic-Choc actually comes in two flavors, the XT SLX and the SLX Dior. Now, this particular model is the XT SLX, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little walkthrough. Starting up at the cockpit, we have aluminum bars, 780 width, aluminum stem, I think that's a 50. On the ends of the bars, we have some non-branded, black, generic, okay type of grips. Switching to the brakes, we've got SRAM level T's for front and rear, and they're mounted up to SRAM centerline rotors, 180s in the front, and way back here, 160s. For the shifting, up on the bars, we have a Shimano XT shifter, which connects to an XT derailleur, SLX cassette, and a KMC chain, wraps around to a race face turbine crank, and a 28-tooth race face chainring. And rounding out the cockpit, we have a dropper post lever right there, mounted up to a Trans X 100mm dropper, and a WTB Pure saddle. And for wheels and tires, we've got Sunringle Mulefoot 80s 27.5, mounted up to V Snow Avalanche 27.5 by 4.5, 100 TPI. Now these tires are studdable, but they come from Panorama as on-studded. Now, all the cables are interior routed. One thing that I've noticed, I've been riding this bike for a while, I haven't heard any cable rattle inside the frame, which is nice. So over on this side, we have one entry point, and over here we have two more. And they have these neat little, I guess, protector ports to stop dirt and stuff from getting in. And now I want to talk a little bit about the frame. It's full carbon, both the frame and the fork. Up front we have 150mm spacing with a 15mm axle. Now I wish it was quick release, but that's fine. And out back we have a 197 with a 12mm axle. Up front, we have a taper head tube, which allows you to pop on a suspension fork if you wanted. We have pretty generous looking frame opening there for a frame bag if you like. And there's all sorts of mounting points. We've got 3 mounting points in each blade, up here on the top tube, a couple down here, 2 more here, and there as well for a rack. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but those bolts, they're actually more conical rather than the domed. I think that's pretty neat. And I've had some fat bikes where there have been missing a few of these bolts, but all bolts are included here on the Chic-Choc. One neat thing about this bike is, well, that Panorama actually partnered with Canadian artists to develop artwork for the bike. And right here on the down tube, you can see a graphic. And what that is, it's actually a caribou. And here are the antlers, and it's mirrored over on the other side. And there is the head of the caribou with the eyes. I think it adds a very unique feature to the bike. I really like it. And another feature that I really like about the bike is just the overall styling. There's more flat edges. If you notice that there, it's flat. Down the seat stay, it's flat, more square tubing. Square carbon tubing, I guess. Down here, again, it's flat. Here, it's flat. It adds a different element to the bike and really makes it look different, in my opinion. One thing you notice here, this piece, that's just a piece of electrical tape that I put there. The bike actually comes with the clear protectors. I just never bothered to put them on for my riding. And another thing is that this particular model, the SLX, it actually comes with tubeless equipment. It comes with a couple of tubes of sealant, as well as tape and stems, I believe. But I'm not a tubeless guy. I like running tubes, so this particular bike still has its stock tubes. But if I wanted to, I could swap it out for tubeless and shave a little bit of weight. Right now, as is, without the pedals or the bottle holder, it weighs in, according to my scale, at about 14 kilos. You pop out the tubes, you're going to save maybe a pound and a half per wheel. Put on something a little lighter in the pedal, and you have a pretty light bike. And for those of you who geek out on dimensions and stuff, the head tube angle on the bike is 68 degrees. Seat tube is 72.5. The reach, 430. Chainstay, 470, with an overall wheelbase of 1,169 millimeters. Now, before I clue this up, I want to tell you a little bit about sizing on this bike. Now, this particular model is a size medium. Now, I'm 5'11", and I fall into that dreaded range of fitting into the medium and large category of most bikes, according to the manufacturer sizing charts. Normally, I lean into the large category. I get the bike and I pop on a shorter stem, do some other slight adjustments, and pulls the bike in a little, because with a large, I'm still stretched out a tiny bit, but making some adjustments brings it back in. When I was looking at the specs on the medium Chic-Chocs, it seemed a little generous. It actually seemed a little bit, I guess, more on the large side of medium rather than the medium side of medium, if you know what I'm talking about. So I decided to try the medium, and I'm glad I did, because this bike fits my 5'11" frame and my riding style perfectly. I will not have to adjust anything, no shorter stems, no other adjustments. This bike fits me nice. I really like it. Well, I've had it for a few weeks now, and most of my riding has been done gravel grinds, light mountain bike trails, some off-road exploration. This is actually the first time that this bike has seen any snow, and to date the bike rides really well. It's really light, drivetrain shifts well, brakes are super grippy. I love this seat, super comfortable. Dropper post, I think every bike should have a dropper post. Just makes riding so much more easier. These tires, the V-Snow Avalanche, I have these on several of my bikes, and I like them anyway. These are unstudded, so if we do end up getting some ice, I'll probably take a set of the studded Snow Avalanche that I have home and swap on this and continue riding. And as I mentioned earlier, with all the internal cable routing, sometimes you get cable slap on the inside, but I haven't noticed that yet on the Chic-Chocs. And there you have it, the Panorama Chic-Chocs. Quick overview, my initial thoughts. If you're looking for any more details or want any more specifications on a bike, be sure to go over to the Panorama website, take a look at the Chic-Chocs. And they have another fat bike as well. They also have a couple of road bikes, an adventure bike, and I think a couple of hardtail mountain bikes. They have a pretty nice range. So that's it for me, folks. I'm going to get riding before I freeze. And thanks for watching. Ride fat.